Good afternoon, the Midday News. I am Babatunde Bolatito. Tinubu campaign organization has warned against attempted imposition of a consensus candidate by All Progressives Congress APC. The organization was reacting to the announcement of a Senate President Ahmed Lawan as consensus candidate of the party. In a statement signed by the legal director, Babatunde Ogala, the support group listed preconditions for picking a consensus candidate as stipulated in the Electoral Act. According to the statement, the media is inundated with reports that the chairman of All Progressive Congress has allegedly announced the purported adoption of a certain aspirant, the consensus presidential candidate of the party for the forthcoming presidential election in 2023, adding that the national chairman is yet to deny or offer any clarification on the alleged declaration. The group describes such a declaration as an illegal impossibility. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party, Oyo State Chapter, has asked the State Deputy Governor, Rauf Olaniyan, to resign immediately, having abandoned the party and the vote that produced him on the party's joint ticket. The statement followed Mr. Olaniyan's defection from the PDP to the All Progressive Congress APC. The State Publicity Secretary of the party, Akim Olatuji, in a statement noted that the PDP leadership in the state, Southwest region, and national levels all intervened at different intervals to resolve the situation fueling the suspected defection plan, but to no avail. The PDP, which cautioned against what it calls selfish motivation, said it was disappointed by comments credited to the Deputy Governor after officially announcing its defection from the PDP to the APC, that even though he has left the PDP, he still remains the Deputy Governor. The party said Olaniyan should know what is right to do after leaving the political party platform that sponsored him and Governor Seyi Makinde on a joint ticket if truly he has any atom of the Yoruba Omoluabi toga he also ascribed to himself. A day after the heinous attack in Owo, condolences have continued to pour in over the dastardly attack on St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State, but yet to be identified gunmen. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and the national leader of the All Progressive Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, arrived at Owo to commiserate with the government and people of Ondo State. Details are presented from our studios.
It will be recalled that armed men yet to be identified had on Sunday invaded the St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo and opened fire on worshippers, aside unspecified number of people who lost their lives. Those injured in the attack are currently receiving treatment in an hospital. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who arrived Owo, described the incident as horrible, highly despicable, and a tragedy too many. Professor Osinbajo, who was taking round the Catholic Church, said it was saddening that worshippers gathered on a Sunday morning while some bandits chose to kill innocent citizens.
Looking at the extent of the tragedy that took place here, I think it is even wrong.
Also on condolence was the national leader of All Progressive Congress and presidential aspirant Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who donated 50 million naira to aid the treatment of the survivors, and another 25 million donation to St. Francis Catholic Church attacked by the hoodlums. Asiwaju, who was accompanied by Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, also visited the palace of Olowo of Owo. Oba Ajibade Badegeshi Ogunoye III wondered why any right-thinking person would carry out such attack on citizens. Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi Ojaja II, in a statement by his Director of Media and Public Affairs, warned against plans by the blood-sucking enemies of God who have vowed to destabilize the southwest region described the vulnerability of Nigerians, especially the poor. The Oni, who is the co-chairman of the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria, explained that there have been reports that some criminals are currently working to invade and to wreak havoc in the Yoruba land, like the one that just happened in Owo. Oba Ogunwusi further warned that the descendants of Oduduwa cannot be overturned, stressing that Yorubas are ready to defend themselves against external invaders.
While the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, is planning to engage retired military personnel to fight Boko Haram terrorism in the northeast. According to Lieutenant General Yahya, the military retirees will support Operation Hardin Kai to end the war and restore peace. General Yahya, represented by the General Officer Commanding 7 Division and Commander Sector 1 of OPHK, Major General Waidi Shuaibu, disclosed days during a valedictory dinner for the discharged officers at the weekend in Maiduguri, Borno State. He explained that the Army will re-engage the most qualified and competent discharged or retired military personnel to complement efforts of troops to restore peace in the northeast and country at large. The university unions and the federal government's renegotiation committee sitting will end today. It was reported that the federal government had a few months ago inaugurated a 7-person committee tasked with the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement reached with the Academic Staff Union of Universities. The other 3 unions include the Joint Action Committee of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions and the National Association of Academic Technologists. The committee, which was chaired by the Pro-Chancellor of Alex Ekweme Federal University, Ndufu Alike, Emeritus Professor Nimi Briggs, was given 3 months to conclude the renegotiation with ASU and other unions. According to ASU and ZANU, National President Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke and Mr. Mohammed Ibrahim, respectively, the Briggs Committee has been meeting with various unions since May 2022 to renegotiate their agreement. Oshodeke told journalists that there have been progress. It, however, depends on the side of the government. Federal government has kicked against plan to locally manufacture human vaccines with first meeting of the Interministerial Steering Committee and Technical Working Group on Local Vaccine Manufacturing. Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanere, disclosed this in an address at the inauguration of the Interministerial Steering Committee and Technical Working Group on Domestic Human Vaccine Manufacturing in line with Nigerian vaccine policy. He said local and international experts in vaccine research and development developed the policy and administration under the leadership and guidance of the Federal Ministry of Health and with regard to recommendations of the World Health Organization. Dr. Ehanere appealed at the time when the global community faces the urgent need to develop a vaccine to combat pandemics. 13 athletes were left out as home-based stars departed Lagos for Mauritius venue of the 22nd African Athletics Championship, which starts tomorrow. Reigning African Games 100 meters and 100-meter hurdle champions Raymond Ekwevo and Tobiloba Amusho are already in Mauritius after competing at the Arena Swenska Memorial World Athletic Continental Gold Meet in Poland. The home-based athletes who trained at the Yaba College of Technology, Lagos, left alongside their coaches and officials of the Athletes Federation of Nigeria. An official of the team told journalists after the departure, shortly before their departure, that among the athletes dropped were high jumper Aya David, long jumper Tobe Chukwu Emmanuel, Fadekemi Olude, and Osaretin John Osumon. No reason was given for the decision to drop the athletes. However, it was learned that some of them had not done their out competition test, and AFN did not want to take chances. Death toll from collapse of an Iranian building has risen to 41 after 3 more bodies were found, local authorities said. 10-story metropole building that was under construction in Abadan and southwestern Quezon province collapsed, sparkling angry protest in solidarity with victims' families. Iran's Vice President for Executive Affairs, Solat Mortazavi, said that the remains of the building will be completely destroyed after removing the debris. Also, Adaban City Governor Esan Abaspor rescue teams are still trying to find more bodies under the rubble. It was gathered that the disaster was one of the deadliest in years, sparked a series of demonstrations across the country against authorities accused of corruption and incompetence. Meanwhile, the regional judiciary said it has arrested 13 people, including Abadan mayor and 2 former mayors, accused of being responsible for the tragedy. That was the Midday News on OSBC TV. It was edited by Olubunmi Ajiboye Agbola. Please join us at 3 for the state news. For the state news.